and I said to them, I feel like this is what I bring to the table, but it does not reflect in what I'm taking home. So can you review my take-home salary, and can we talk about this? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Faith and I am a pharmacist. I am a hairstylist. By hairstylist, I mean I love making braids and just trying out new braid styles. I don't always record that, but every now and then you will see them pop up on this channel. So if you like content like that, subscribe. I'm focusing more on the pharmacist side of things because I feel like I've noticed there's sort of a gap in that space, and I'm happy to just fill it with whatever information I can get out there that would help somebody looking out for them. So yes, if you feel like you're going to enjoy any of these, please feel free to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you can know when next I post a video. Look, this video may not have been possible if I didn't drag my ass out the bed. Like, I had such a long day yesterday and I am tired. But I just said we're going to scrap the makeup part of it. I actually just draw my brows very haphazardly. Whatever that word is, just not very coordinated. But hey, I'm here and I'm making this video, and that's what matters. Look, I told myself that I'm not going to let anything like stress me out too much when it comes to like making these videos, because I feel like the minute I start to like internalize all this stress, I'm just like, nope, not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm too tired. I cannot. So now I'm just like, bare face, fine. If I have the energy, I'll wear makeup. So yeah, here goes. Today I'm talking about my career trajectory, my career projection within the last 4 years and a bit of qualification. So in 4 years, I have had 4 jobs. I know that sounds dramatic AF, but hey, I'm going to talk you through it, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this video whether I regret that decision to move jobs very frequently or not. So stay with me and just listen to how the timeline has been. And if you would like to know like pros and cons of moving jobs so frequently in just such a short period of time, then please let me know in comment section and I will be happy to record that video. Yeah, for now I'm just going to tell you about the jobs and how I've got to where I'm at right now. So I qualified a little over 4 years ago, and I started my job in somewhere that we call a hard to fill area. So for someone who needs a tier 2 work visa, it's very competitive to try and find jobs in the big cities. So I had to find a job in a hard to fill area. So we're talking the outskirts of the UK, like the end of the line, like the end of the world. That was where I began my career as a pharmacist. Now I only stayed there for 6 months. I started in December, first week of December, and I was out of there by the middle of June, best believe. So I started with a big private company as a pharmacist. I was a relief pharmacist. I was moving from one store to another, but within the same company. It was a nice job for a first-time pharmacist, for a newly qualified pharmacist. It was a lovely job, I won't lie, because it gave me the opportunity to like learn from different places and how different people worked. And I had cases where I worked with like other pharmacists, so I was able to pick their brains, see how they worked, and decide what parts of what they do I want to incorporate into my practice. So it was really good to start. I had a lot of experience in that place. The only downside of there for me was I was a London girl, right? I went to school in London. I stayed in London for years, and I was so used to the hustle and bustle of city life. I lived in central London at some point. That's how into the city life I was. And then all of a sudden I'm taking to the countryside. Like, it was a total culture shock for me. And the worst part of it was the way my job was set up. I didn't really have like weekends so often. So I would have 1 day off in the week and 1 day off on the weekend. So I never had 2 days together that I was off for. So traveling to the city and back just proved so difficult. And especially because the journey was about 5 to 7 hours to get to the city where the rest of my family members were and where I was so used to living. It was just crazy. I just got increasingly frustrated as the months went by because I just could not see anyone I was used to seeing. I was so isolated. I was far from everything I knew. And this sounds very dramatic and petty, but one day I cried over the fact that I couldn't eat plantain. Yes, I literally cried over the fact that there was no plantain around, and I was craving plantain so bad. Like, it's a city where if you want to eat McDonald's, you have to get on a 30-minute bus journey to just go to McDonald's, and that 30-minute bus journey will cost you about £8. So yes, I was just not here for it. I was not used to it. I was used to living in London where everything was a few bus stops away from me that I needed, and if I needed to see someone, worst case scenario, I would journey about an hour and a half and I would see them. It just felt so different, and the culture shock was too much, and I was like, I need to get out of here. I can't survive. I was so lonely as well because I only had one friend there. For some reason I made friends with my colleagues, but again, I feel like it's so different moving to a whole new place and having to make a whole new friends. Like, for me, it was not the easiest. It might come easy to someone else, but it just didn't work out for me. And I just decided I need to get out of here. So my second job was with the same company. So what I did was, because I know that I needed tier 2 visa and it would be hard to find a job in bigger cities, I just contacted someone who knew someone who knew someone told me that there was a job going within the same company in another city, and they were happy to sponsor visas. And I said, please just tell them I need to come. Please just tell them I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here, like, right now. I finally managed to get a transfer. So it was an internal transfer, though I had to like sort of apply for the job. It was an internal transfer, so I went from one city to another. Yeah, it was, I was calling it a part of UK to another part of the UK, and that was where I started my second career. So I was doing the exact same thing as I was while I was in the first place. So I was relieving, I was going from one store to another, and I was learning how different teams worked. It was good because this was a whole different part of the country. So yeah, having to learn how people in this part think, because people in different parts of the country think sort of differently, and it's interesting. I was there for about 2 years. After living somewhere that was so different to London, going back to London for the first time after months, London felt so overwhelming for me. I just could not anymore. I was confused. I've lived here for months, for years and years. How all of a sudden can I not live in London? How can I feel like I'm being choked while in London? This is my end. Like, this is my base. How? So I decided I had to find somewhere that wasn't too much like London is, and it wasn't too like countryside, like where I was coming from. So I found this perfect in between for me. I feel like it's perfect. It could be different for someone else, but it is a perfect in between. And that's where I currently live, and that's a city that didn't feel too busy, but then it didn't feel too quiet. And then I was able to commute to London easily if I wanted to, because that's where, again, most of my family and friends were. So I was happy and I was settled, and I could eat plantain whenever I desired. Like, you don't know how deep that is for me. I'm talking about plantain, but you know what I mean, like Nigerian food, like African food, like, yeah, that's always a plus. So I started with this new area, but it was within the same company, and within a few years after networking, I just realized that I was being undervalued. I felt like I was being undervalued. I'd spoken to a few people and I'd gauged like how people were being remunerated or paid, and I felt like I was being undervalued because I know personally that I am a hard worker and I bring my very best to the table, and I always ensure that whatever I do, I put my best foot forward. And I was recognized for doing such a good job in places. So I approached my boss and I said to them about, okay, I feel like this is what I bring to the table, but it does not reflect in what I'm taking home. So can you review my take-home salary, and can we talk about this? He did not budge. So unfortunately, I started to just feel like I was not being appreciated, and there's nothing worse than feeling unappreciated when you know that people are anyway more than you that probably don't even work as hard as you do. So I started to look out for other jobs. I decided to go on and do some courses, or a course that would make my CV look a lot better. And this course helped me to get some experience outside working in your average community pharmacy as well. So I was able to work alongside a doctor, and I was able to work in that setting. That helped me to just gain a whole new learning experience, and I was able to have a whole lot more on my CV to take on to apply to new jobs. So when I was ready to leave my old job, I had my new qualification, and I also had my experience from the past few years of working as a pharmacist, and I had some experience as well from just working and shadowing that GP that I had shadowed. Bear in mind, I still need a tier 2 visa, so it's still a bit tricky, but I ended up landing quite a lot of interviews. And if you want me to talk about interviews and all that good stuff, please let me know in the comment section or send me a message. I ended up getting a job that gave me about a 30% pay rise, which was really good. But then I was agreeing to take on a challenge. Well, I didn't know in hindsight, but again, it was a challenge. It was a new job title. It was a role of management. I had sworn for years that I was never going to get into management because I saw how stressful it was, and being a pharmacist alone can be a bit stressful. So I was keen on taking on a whole new role, ensuring that I felt like I was being appreciated where I was, because again, from moving from one job to another, from one place to another, you learn a whole lot of things that you don't want to do when you get to your next role or career or job. And I was well on my way to getting a new job with at least a 30% pay rise, and the job looked really good. The offer looked really nice, but the only thing there was I had promised myself for a long time that I was not going to take on the challenge of being a pharmacist manager, because that role is stressful. Like, being a pharmacist alone is tedious AF. Now, adding management onto that in a business setting, just know that you're going to be driving yourself deep into like chaos. It's going to be crazy. Now, it depends on a whole lot of factors. It may not be crazy for everyone, but a few months into this new role, I decided that no, I was right from the beginning. This is not for me, just because I had to find a way to balance those two roles, so pharmacist, management. And I loved being a pharmacist. I loved being a pharmacist. Management, I wasn't so keen on, but then the management side of things started to outweigh being a pharmacist for me, and then that just took a toll on me generally. So I wasn't happy. I just felt like I wasn't getting to do the job that I actually like to do, which was be a pharmacist in its entirety. And I just decided I need to get out of here and just find something that was less management focused, less target focused, less business focused, and just more patient centered, more patient focused, in a place where I'm able to actually impact people properly, fully, giving them my full attention. So yeah, I decided then to just start looking for new jobs again. So this is the 4th time I will be looking to like change my job. And then after months of searching, I got lots of interviews. Again, having this whole new qualification made it so much easier for me to land roles that were not even typical to what I was used to doing before. So I had lots of interviews. I had quite a few offers actually, but I went for this particular role that I'm doing now, which I will probably shed a bit more light on in the near future once I've settled. I'm quite happy there. I'm only a few weeks into it, so I'm not going to say too much, but at the moment I am happy. It is definitely a lot more patient-centered, and I'm happy at that. I feel a lot more fulfilled at this job, and it gives me a better work-life balance as well compared to what I had in community. So I'm going to be speaking a whole lot more on that in probably a different video, so please just leave a thumbs up if you would like me to do that. So that's where I ended up, and I'm here now. I'm doing something entirely different but patient-centered, and I'm happy. I feel fulfilled. My motto is, your life is too short to be where you just are unhappy. You need to prioritize and figure out what exactly works for you. What's your priority? I had to ask myself that difficult question. The big question is, Am I, or do I regret changing my job so frequently in 4 years? And my answer is no. I would do it again and again and again, because I feel like, oh my God, there's so many pros to that. There's a bit of cons, I'm not gonna lie, there are cons, but I feel like there's a lot of pros that I personally have experienced. And if you would like me to go into the pros and cons of changing your job so frequently, leave a like and leave a comment and let me know what you'd like me to do. I will be more than happy to record that video if you guys want to see it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you guys in my next video.